Lydia in Post. I get to drive Mom's Honda tonight. Yay, I love Hondas. Yay, Lydia. We love Hondas too. But it's time to get your own at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. We've got great deals on KBB.com's most trusted brand, like a Honda Civic with a rearview camera, Pandora, and Bluetooth standard. Perfect for calling Mom on weekends.
Hurry into the Honda Summer Clearance Event for 0.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers.
Based on 2014 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information. Pandora compatible with select smartphones. Wireless carriers rates apply. See dealer for financing details.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bickaveris.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson, on this very overcast but very nice July 16th, 2014, day after the All-Star Game. Greg Bickaveris, glad you're with us for our interview show every Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here on News Talk 1650, your 10,000-watt voice of the South, here all the way up to Interstate 64, almost up to Maryland. Also on TuneIn.com, type in WHKT in the search box, listen on your computer or your phone. This is your home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650. Find me at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military for what you do 24/7, and of course our police officers and first responders. Great guest lineup today presented by the Egg Bistro, our fan forum. I'm going to introduce them in just a few moments. Stay tuned for that. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors, and our guest lineup presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Phone line presented by Old Town Tavern in Hampton. Sponsors this month on WHKT, Old Town Tavern, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddies, Battlefield Guns and Ammo, Crawl Space Doors. And of course, our fan forum will be Ron Peterson, Bill Bishop, and Hank Armentrout. Don't forget, highlights coming up a little bit later. What teased me off, our business spotlight as well. A lot going on. Gentlemen, welcome to Sports Scene.
Yes, nice to be here, Greg.
Very good. Greg. Very good. All right, well, let's start off with our fan forum. What we're going to do, folks, here for the next hour or so, we're going to have our business spotlight a little bit later, is we're going to be in the studio live today talking about various relevant, germane topics in the world of sports, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. This is our fan forum as well, right here, sponsored by Tap Gastro Pub in Virginia Beach. Let's start off first with Mr. Ron Peterson. Ron, tell us about your background, first of all.
Well, worked in advertising in Hampton Roads about 20 years. Got to know you, Greg, when I worked at Cox Media in television advertising sales, and still work in advertising and also own and operate a landscaping business.
Bill, you've been in radio pretty much since for several decades. You were the voice of the
Thanks
Tides.
a lot.
You were the voice of the Tides and also grew up in Michigan. Talk about your background real quick.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be the one of the broadcasters for Michigan sports back in the 70s, which was the Bo Schembechler, Woody Hayes era. and got to broadcast 5 or 6 of those games, which was a remarkable experience. Also got to work a Rose Bowl, and I worked 17 years at WNIS, and I retired 17 years ago, so I'm the old man on the panel today.
Hank Armentrout, welcome.
No, we're all getting older by the minute.
Hank,
so.
you grew up here in the Hampton Roads.
I certainly did. Went to Deep Creek High School, proud Hornet graduate. Owned my own caulking company, American Caulking at yahoo.com. If your bathtubs or your windows are looking pretty bad, you need to go ahead and get in touch with us. We'll get them straightened out.
All right, well, let's start the fan forum right here, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors. Don't forget sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. The August show, we're going to have B.W. Webb, the Dallas Cowboys, on that show. And in September, we'll be coming from the Winston-Salem Open tennis tournament before the U.S. Open. All right, Ron Peterson, LeBron James, a lot more quieter this time. 4 years later, now back with Cleveland. No drama at all with LeBron. He made the right decision going to a younger team because toward the end, Miami looked really old.
I'd agree, Greg. Yeah, not a lot of drama this time, and I think overall I'm just really happy for the people of Cleveland. You know, that's a city that's been through a lot. There's some people in Hampton Roads that think the economy the last 10, 12 years has affected them, but there's a city that's really been devastated by the economy, and to have some good news for a change, LeBron James coming home is a great thing for them. And, you know, it also reminds you how easily people forgive. You remember how upset they were when LeBron left, burning jerseys, and I'm sure they'll be buying those jerseys back here soon.
Hank Armentrout, of course, Johnny Manziel's with the Browns, so really a great 1-2 punch as far as excitement in Cleveland.
Yeah, one, though, has got a little bit more credibility than the other at this point. It's interesting to me how much criticism LeBron James takes, yet he leads a team to 4 consecutive finals. So count me in the LeBron James corner. I'm a huge fan. I think he's the closest thing to Magic Johnson that we've had in a long time. That's the type of game I like. As a former quarterback, I'd rather get my teammates involved and make my other guys happy, and I think LeBron James does that better than anybody.
Yeah, next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, my all-time favorite player, he is number 2. Bill Bishop, you've been around for a long time, seen some greats like Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Where do you stack LeBron in that category?
Well, LeBron is very close to the top. I think most NBA fans, certainly arguably, would say Michael Jordan is probably the greatest of all time, but LeBron is certainly zeroing in on that title, and I guess a lot would depend historically on if he can bring a title or 2 or even 3 to Cleveland.
Absolutely. All right, right here on News Talk 1650, Greg Bicoveris. This is Sports Scene along with Hank Armentrout, Ron Peterson, Bill Bishop, Ken Johnson, our producer, live right here in the studio on this July 16th at 12:13. Don't forget, for more, log on to GJBTV.com. Go ahead and, guys, give us your Twitter handles. Ron, go ahead.
At Ron_Peterson, Peterson.
Hank?
I'm at 757 Hank, and for the record, I'm a Bill Russell guy.
There you go. There you go.
Greatest of all time.
All right, well, let's segue here to baseball. The All-Star game, the American League won that yesterday. Trout got the MVP. Derek Jeter's last All-Star game. Very nice game in Minnesota. No drama at all. Well-behaved crowd. A lot going on. Let's talk about that, Ron. First of all, you're a big Orioles fan. Let's talk about the health of baseball today.
Well, quite frankly, I think it's struggling a little bit. You know, you saw a lot of enthusiasm for World Cup soccer, and I think that's going to be a topic you'll talk about in a minute. But overall, the pace of the game, I think, is a little bit slow. If you watch the College World Series, you saw even the umpire telling batters not to step out of the box, to get back in the box, to try to speed the game up. But one of the things that's kind of contributed to that, too, to the speed of the game, is all the pitching changes. You know, you've got specialists that'll come in, get a left-hander, right-hander out, and they take a lot of time. But I think something's got to be done to speed up the pace of the game. Everyone's attention span nowadays is a lot shorter, and a lot of young kids are not watching baseball like we used to when we were growing up. They're into other sports like football or sports that have a quicker time window.
Mm-hmm. Hank, it just seems like it drags on forever, and like we don't have a major league team here, but who can afford to go to a game with parking, concessions, go on a Tuesday night, last 4 or 5 hours? We live in a 2014 digital age. It seems like baseball is behind the times.
Yeah, and with a major league team, you know, there's been talk about bringing a team around here. You got 81 home games. This area doesn't have that type of money. I know I could maybe afford to go to 3 or 4 a year, but in no way could I get a season ticket for an 81 game schedule. Baseball, as far as controversy, there was a little bit last night, and didn't the Cardinals pitcher said he grooved a couple in so Derek Jeter could get a hit? I mean, to me,
sounded like he said that.
I'm not a Jeter guy. I'll be honest with you. I've talked to you about this before. I think he's a compiler. He's been in the league for 20 years and has never been in the top 10 vote as an MVP. To me, if he played for the Rockies or the Pirates, we wouldn't be doing all this.
Probably not. He's very neutral. That's a great point, too, Hank. Bill, your thoughts on, first of all, the All-Star game last night, the American League won, so they get the advantage in the World Series, but the health of baseball.
Well, first of all, I'm happy that the American League won because I'm a Detroit Tiger fan, and my guys came through pretty well. Cabrera with a 2-run homer and Scherzer with the win. I was a little surprised statistically. The St. Louis Cardinal pitchers, 2 of them gave up all 5 American League runs, which was something of an oddity. The pace of the game, if I can throw out something that I've thought about, and it's a very revolutionary concept, and I haven't expressed this publicly, the Yankees and the Red Sox in particular, they take so many pitches, the games stretch out so long. I know this is kind of crazy, but what if you set a limit on the number of foul balls a batter was allowed to hit when he had a 2-2 count or a 3-2 count on him, say 4.
Sure.
Sometimes they hit 8 or 9 or 10, and that at-bat takes 12, 15 minutes. It's unbelievable.
So it's not just the pitcher. That's a great point. With Ken Johnson, Greg Bicoveris, this is Sports Scene, our special guests, our fan forum right here on News Talk 1650, Hank Armentrout, Ron Peterson, and Bill Bishop. All right, so we know the All-Star game went pretty well last night for the American League, at least. Fox's broadcast went pretty smooth. And I want to bring that up in TV because a lot of us have done TV and radio here. Ron, you and I have specifically done both. And you talk about all these different cable networks, all the ESPN channels. Now the SEC network is going to be coming up fall, 24-hour SEC. You've got all these reality shows that seem like they're more stars than movie stars. You got all the ESPN, the NBC Sports Network, CBS Sports Network. We only have so much time in the day to do anything, let alone watch all these TV networks. Ron, what do you think about all these reality shows, whether it's Finding Bigfoot, the Kardashians? It just seems like it's all becoming Food Network reality shows. That's where TV is going.
Absolutely. Everything's become so segmented, and you can probably remember as sports fans how excited we all were when ESPN first came around, and here was a network that had all sports. And now you look forward about 30 years, and not only is there ESPN and several different incarnations of that around, but we've got specialized networks. We've got the MLB network, the tennis network, Golf Channel, and NBA and NFL have their own channels too. So everything is really getting segmented, and we can probably even look forward to more of that and more of those sports on even different platforms.
Absolutely. NHL Network goes on and on and on. And Hank, and now people can watch it on their phones and their computers.
Yeah, it's insane. I listen to ESPN radio on my phone. I listen to your show on my phone now that I found out how to do it. I'm a little slow when it comes to finding all these streams and stuff like that, but I can certainly find anything I want on the television screen.
And with that said, great topic, guys, right here. All right, we all grew up in the phone book newspaper era. Bill, you're still in that era.
Yes.
But I will say this. I'm going to start off with Ron like we've been doing. Ron, being in advertising and broadcasting, we all picked up the newspaper. I still do occasionally, but like my dad years ago said, if you knew tomorrow's news today, you would be a millionaire. He was right. That's where the internet and Al Gore started years ago. It seems like now anybody under 35 does not pick up a newspaper, does not pick up a phone book. Do you?
Can't say that I do. I get it all on the phone, and even directions. You remember how you used to have paper directions. We were driving in the car somewhere, and the kids are so used to us using GPS. When I brought out a sheet of paper that had directions on it, they called it paper GPS. They had never really even seen that.
Hank, of course, you know that more than anybody, that phone books and newspapers, nobody under 30, 40, seems like, or even under 50 picks them up.
And I think it's making people dumber, to be honest with you. I mean, you can't even get anybody to answer simple questions anymore. They tell you to Bing it. I don't use the other word. I'm not a G-word fan.
Bill, of course, you still get the pilot at home, and probably use the phone book too. But your era, you're a different generation.
I'm a 20th century guy, I like to tell people. And, of course, the newspaper is handy for a lot of things besides the news. One thing that
It's good fly swatter.
Again, maybe I are also put under your drink. But anyway, phooey.
The computer you're talking about, as far as you go to the library and check your email, right?
I do at the library, yeah. And it doesn't always work, so I may have to break down and get a computer.
Oh my, Ken, how about
Those
you?
are probably the sites you couldn't get on anyway.
Let's get Ken's thoughts real quick too on all that technology, Ken.
Oddly enough, we were just talking about that the other day, how the technology's changed so much. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. People and laws and society don't always catch up with the rapid pace and changes in technology. Here's just a classic example. Today is the 45th anniversary of the launch of Apollo 11. What did Apollo 11 do? It went to the moon. 3 guys went to the moon, 2 landed on the moon, walked around on it. 45 years later, what are we doing? We're delivering groceries to the space station.
There you go.
Technology goes up, technology goes down. So you wonder sometimes if all this rapid pace of technology might not reverse itself at some point. We might find ourselves back in the Stone Age. So hold on to that phone book, Bill Bishop. You might need it.
Well, at least
in fact, I might need to borrow it. You never
I wonder
know.
why that third guy didn't get off and get on the moon. I mean, you don't think he's a little resentful of that now, huh?
I think Collins probably would have liked to, but they didn't design it that way.
All right.
Somebody had to babysit the thing in orbit, you know.
All right, well, this is Sports Scene. Ken, thank you for that. Of course, a sponsor update right here, 5 Points Family Diner. Excellent place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. $5.99 daily lunch specials at 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk, 855-0100. Of course, they have chicken fingers, seafood, pasta, wings, burgers, liver, and onions. You got to love that. Meatloaf. Go by and see Hassan, of course. Daily lunch specials like cheeseburgers, chicken salad, chopped steak, of course, flounder, spaghetti. All you can eat, Hank, today. Chicken and dumplings for $6.99. All you can eat. Right there, folks. If you're in Norfolk right now, stop by there at 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. And all police officers, you listening? 30% for you off 7 days a week at 5 Points Family Diner, 855-0100, 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. Greg Bickaveris, Ron Peterson, Bill Bishop, Hank Armentrout. Well, the World Cup just ended. The Americans did so-so. They did get a win. A lot of controversy, but it seems like to me, Ron, how can it be an American team when it's not an American coach? Some of the players are from all over the place, including coaches. And as soon as the World Cup's over in this country, yeah, we might watch the MLS for 5 seconds. But guess what? It's football season now. Nobody's talking about soccer the day that ended. Your thoughts? Now, ESPN did a great job. Fox is going to take over that in 4 years. But soccer seems like it's still behind football, basketball, baseball, and even hockey in this country.
Absolutely, it is. And how many years have we been hearing from soccer fans that soccer is the next big thing in the U.S.? And unfortunately, I guess it's not for very long, just around World Cup time. Can probably look for an uptick in soccer interest here, the 2016 Olympics. There'll be a lot to be said about that. But as I was watching it, couldn't help but think about how these other countries, for them, really soccer's the only game. And here our kids have so many options. You know, you think, what if every major college point guard that plays basketball had played soccer instead from an early age, or every football tailback had played soccer from an early age? How good would the U.S. be in soccer? I think we'd be pretty darn hard to beat.
Hank, how much of the World Cup did you watch?
I got into it. I'm an event guy, and the World Cup was an event. Now, the only thing I have less interest in than the MLS would be women's NBA. Other than I will not watch either of those for 1 second. In my opinion, U.S. soccer has to be the most underachieving sporting entity that we have in this country. We never do well. And in a way, I kind of like that. It's nice that the quote-unquote ugly American takes a shot every now and then. We don't have to be the best at everything. And quite honestly, like Mr. Peterson said, our best athletes tend to gravitate to other sports. I know when I was in school playing ball and played football, the joke was soccer was for the guys who couldn't play football.
Yep. All loyal listeners of Sports Scene right today in the studio. Greg Bickaveris, Ken Johnson producing, Hank Armentrout, Ron Peterson, Bill Bishop talking various random topics. Bill Bishop, how much of the soccer did you watch?
I did watch quite a bit, and I would point out that Virginia Beach in particular is pretty much a hotbed for high school and prep school soccer, but I think outside of Virginia Beach it's not that strong. But as far as the World Cup, I enjoyed it. I really did. I think one thing about the low scoring that people complain about is the fact that when a game is 0-0 or a 1-goal difference, there's always that suspense that you can either tie the game or put it away. I'll have that same argument with people that don't like ice hockey.
Well, there you go. The Admirals, they get their crowds, but they don't sell out that often. Of course, we're talking on Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650. Hank, you want to chime in?
I just want to mention one thing while we're sitting here in Chesapeake. 3 state champions from the city of Chesapeake in the fall sports. I think baseball, softball, and I'm not sure what the other one was, but we do have 3 state champions from the city of Chesapeake.
And the best baseball players in the state, David Wright, the Upton brothers, of course, Zimmerman's from Virginia Beach.
Aren't there some great track kids, too?
This is the area. This is a hotbed. People talk about, Texas. You get your Texas, California, Florida, obviously. Virginia and this area specifically is right up there as far as, per capita.
I mean, you look at it, Ron Springs, and Sweet Pea Whitaker. I had him on
Terry
Sports
Kirby.
Scene. Yeah, Terry Kirby, of course, Allen Iverson, Ronald Curry.
I mean, the list goes on.
DJ Dozier. I mean, you can go on and on. But how about heroes? Let's go back in order here, Ron. When you see a Bruce Smith getting in trouble, a Sweet Pea Whitaker getting in trouble, God knows Allen Iverson got in trouble all the time. Michael Vick was the poster boy for getting in trouble. It takes away from the image of this area because right now, even though it's been removed, nothing against Vic, it seems like nobody still would use him to endorse their product even today.
You're exactly right, and it's funny. People I went to college with and people I know that coach high school sports in Northern Virginia or Richmond, when we talk sports and talk about local people from our areas, they always joke me about, 2 of the greatest athletes of our generation, guys with just incredible athletic ability. One is Allen Iverson. The second is Michael Vick. They probably got the best set of skills of any player to come into the NBA or the NFL. And both of them have done some knuckleheaded things off the field, to put it politely. And that's something I think as a region we probably a little embarrassed about.
Nothing to pick on any certain player, Hank, but it's true. All of these issues that we mentioned, all these athletes, they all have some baggage. We all got baggage, but not convicted felon baggage.
We talked about this, I think, earlier before the show, and I think a lot of it has to do with where you're from. Quite honestly, if either of us grew up where Allen Iverson or Michael Vick grew up, your livelihood might be a little bit different. So, before we start talking about who did this and who did that, I have one of my best friends fights dogs.
Well,
that's his thing. I don't like it, but I can't tell him what to do. That's what he does. Not fights them, but he raises pit bulls and they go after each other in the backyard.
Well, they're not exactly Shih Tzus and Yorkies. That's for sure.
I don't bring my child. I don't bring my 7-year-old around there.
Yeah,
people do what they do.
Let's face it, pit bulls are dangerous no matter whether because they can go off at a certain point. Are you a big? We're talking about dogs here. Are you a big fan of dogs?
Certainly not dog fighting.
No.
Yeah, I love dogs.
Yeah.
But let's not get too negative here.
No.
Who's the Alonzo Mourning with his foundation and all the baseball players that are making quite a reputation.
And J.R. Reed as well.
Sure.
But your thoughts, Bill, you're from Michigan. This area really, when you talk about, Lawrence Taylor, he's had his issues as well.
Right.
Ron Springs passed away, but those were and then Sean Gale, Jimmy Gale, we can go on and on and on. This area has had so many great athletes and, of course, college programs too.
Well, it certainly has. We're talking about Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and throwing these names around. The 757 is what it is. And we've had our share of ups and downs and goods and bads. And I don't think we're that different than any other major metropolitan area.
I was just saying it just does hurt endorsements. And that's what we're talking about, endorsements. You do not see those gentlemen on endorsements. Even though people forgive and forget, not everybody does. This is Sports Scene right here coming up on the CBS News break at 12:29. Live right here in the studio. Don't forget, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. You can share it on Twitter as well, on Facebook. Everything is so active, mobile media today. Listen to this show on your phone, on your computer at tunein.com. Type in WHKT as well. Want to welcome another great sponsor right here, Tacos Mexico. We all love great tacos in Newport News at 13677 Wark Boulevard in the Denby section, 7460530. Go by and see Barbara, great tacos, great tortas, of course, great lunch specials as well, daily as well, and of course, excellent Great food, great prices, delicious desserts, fresh tortillas right there, tacos, enchiladas, burritos. They have it all right there at Tacos Mexico, of course. And again, made fresh daily, delicious food. When you talk tacos in Newport News, you talk Tacos Mexico. The exact pronunciation, restaurant y taqueria. Great food and great taste right there by Barbara at Tacos Mexico, 13677 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News. Give them a call at 746-0530. Delicious place for lunch and dinner daily is Tacos Mexico. Convenient, not the big chain store. The great service you desire is at Tacos Mexico. And of course, we'll be coming back with a lot more topics right after this. We have What Teased Me Off, our business spotlight, along with Ken Johnson. This is Greg Bickavera. Stay tuned to Sports Scene.
And we'll be back with Sports Scene in just a matter of moments. We've got that crash working up in Richmond, 95 North Matthew, heading up that way. It's really jamming up traffic through the interstates. Otherwise, fairly steady roll of traffic just about everywhere else. No bridge openings on the schedule. We do have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. I understand it's starting to rain once again, a high of 78 degrees. Decreasing cloudiness tonight with a low of 68. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 83. For Friday, partly cloudy, 83. Mostly cloudy on Saturday, 83. And for Sunday, scattered thunderstorms. And why should we change the forecast at high temperature? It's going to be, guess what, 83 degrees. We'll see if it actually stays that way. More Sports Scene coming up after the short break, and CBS News, it's 12:31.
News update. I'm Steve Kathan. New evidence raises questions about GM, which is under investigation for recall delays and its deadly ignition switch problem. New York Times reporter Danielle Ivory says she found cases where General Motors told federal investigators one thing but had done another.
They actually said that they hadn't done an evaluation of the cause of the crash. We actually knew from an earlier report that they had indeed assessed the cause of that crash and that the assessment had been that the car most likely lost power.
University of Richmond law professor Carl Tobias says there's a lot to all this.
It seems to me there are questions on both sides, whether GM was as forthright as it might have been and whether the agency was as rigorous as it should have been.
BMW is the latest automaker to expand a recall into faulty airbags made by a Japanese company, adding 1.6 million vehicles. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by GJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors Page.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us. GJBTV.com archive shows. Click the YouTube link. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors, where you can see some great sponsors right on there. Save the date each Wednesday from 12 to 1 for Sports Scene. Of course, our business spotlight coming up a little bit later. Tap Gastropub in Virginia Beach. Excellent restaurant in Hilltop. What Teased Me Off. Don't forget sports highlights on NNPSTV.com and GJBTV.com. Ron Peterson, how are you enjoying this hot heat, my friend?
Well, it's been tough for everybody, I guess. You feel sorry for people that work outside all the time, but kind of makes me think, too, what do people do before air conditioning?
This is, of course, right here. This is Sports. We want to welcome our guests. This is our fan forum. We do this about once a quarter right here. We got Ron Peterson, we got Bill Bishop, and Hank Armentrout talking about different topics in the world of sports and society today. Don't forget Tap Gastropub Sports Minute Business Spotlight coming up a little bit later. All right, let's switch gears now. We've talked about LeBron James, baseball, the All-Star Game, the World Cup, how we get our information today. We mentioned anybody under 40 does not pick up a newspaper or a phone book anymore, but let's talk about college football. football real quick. Virginia, we live in the state of Virginia. The head coach went to Bethel High School and Tabb High School, Coach London. He's been there since this will be his 5th year, and he needs a winning season bad, Ron.
He sure does. There's not a guy I want to see do well any more than him. Went to the same high school. I graduated from high school with his brother, played football, was coached by his dad when I was playing rec league football. And he's got a challenge this year. We were just looking at his schedule, and to find 6 wins on that schedule is a tough thing. And you kind of wonder about Mike London. Seems like he's done such a great job in recruiting. He's brought in great recruiting classes. Seems like he coaches well in practice, but you hear people wondering if something is breaking down in the game, just his game management. And they brought in some assistant coaches there that hopefully to give him some insight and mentorship on that. But I'd love to see UVA turn it around this year. The state of Virginia is a lot better when Tech and UVA are both winning, but I think it's going to be a big challenge for the Wahoos this year.
Hank Armentrout, your thoughts on Virginia? They're always behind Virginia Tech, but your thoughts in general?
I think I maybe have mentioned this to you maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, that I thought they should have went ahead and took Jim Tressel, let him sit out his 5-game suspension, and then picked, because I mean, if the sweater vest certainly fits with the image that UVA portrays, and the guy obviously is successful at Ohio State, and I mean, I don't know, I guess he went down because people were getting tattoos and selling rings and stuff. That's just, I mean, Jim Tressel, in my opinion, would have been perfect for UVA.
We're talking right here about the future of Coach London of Virginia. And, of course, Coach Beamer's been the head coach of Virginia Tech since 1987. Coach London went to Bethel Tabb. Of course, he won a national championship at Richmond. But, Bill, it seems like he's been behind the 8 ball in the ACC. And like Ron mentioned, they got a really tough schedule with UCLA this year.
You're talking about Tech?
We're talking about UVA.
Oh, UVA. Well, UVA, Ron put it very well when he said it would be great for the state of Virginia if UVA could become more competitive, because they've been behind the 8 ball for so long, especially, what have they lost, 9 straight or something to Tech? And, of course, now the ACC is changing around a little bit, and we get a look at some different teams, and they're no slouches. So UVA definitely has their work cut out for them. I really don't follow it as closely as these guys, but you can see the effect that it has on the general public and the general football interest.
This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1, right here during the lunch hour, News Talk 1650 WHKT. Listen anywhere in the world on your phone or your computer. Go to tunein.com. That's all you got to do. Type in WHKT in the search box, and you can hear it. Don't forget GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors. Check them out, like Tap Gastropub, the place to eat in Hilltop in Virginia Beach. Excellent restaurant for all you tourists out there driving. Where are we going to go for dinner tonight? Well, you know where to go. I'm telling you where to go. Tap Gastropub in Hilltop. I know you're going to the ocean front right now, but I know you want that burger. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. Go to Tap Gastropub and get some really good food. Also go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. All right, Redskins. The station I used to work for used to be owned by the Redskins, so I'm very familiar. We all are. I know our next guest, of course, grew up in the Northern Virginia area as well. He's got a lot of roots there, too. All right, the Redskins name change. I don't want to blame this on Dan Snyder, because when he took over the team in his early 30s, you look at most men don't mature till they're 45 years old. Dan Snyder got a lot of criticism as a young kid. I mean, these are owners 80 years old. He's owning the team in his 30s. Well, guess who owned it before him? Jack Kent Cooke, who was almost 100 years old. Well, the name was there, the Cleveland Indians, of course, the tribe of William and Mary, the Kansas City Chiefs. You can go on and on. Jack Kent Cooke could have changed it years ago, but he didn't. What are your thoughts about name changes like the Indians, the Chiefs, and the Redskins in general?
Well, I think, my personal feelings aside, I think the Redskins in the coming year, there's just going to be a lot of opposition to their name, and it's going to gather a lot of momentum, and I think they're going to have to do something to change the name.
Hank Armentrout?
I actually agree with that. People, when they talk about it being historic and it's 83 years old, well, 83 years ago, in 1933, I think they named the team. And there was also lynchings at that time. If they'd have named them the Lynchmen, do you think the outcry would have been a little bit different? And I think it would have. So yeah, Redskins, the term by definition is offensive, and I think that in lies the question. You have to change any offensive terms.
David Macklin was on the show last week. He played for Penn State, and he played for the Colts with Peyton Manning. Made a really, really good point. And he said the Redskins are not bigger in the NFL. Dan Snyder's not bigger in the NFL. The NFL still is the king. And let's face it, we live in a politically correct world today. Anything you say could potentially offend anybody. You can't walk on eggshells, but like Macklin said, the Redskins are not bigger than the NFL. All right, let's talk about some other topics here too as well. And Bill Bishop, your thoughts on the Redskins?
Well, I frankly am a little surprised. I thought maybe one of the panel members would go along with Snyder and say we're going to keep the name. But I think if you look up the word pejorative in the dictionary, that's what you're going to find, and it's not a nice word. And Chiefs and Braves and Indians is not the same as calling a team Redskins. And the person saying all this went to a high school where the teams were known as the Big Reds. So what are they going to do there?
Did Miami of Ohio used to be known as the Redskins?
I think
They changed the name. So.
The bottom line is you can nitpick and tweak forever, but you're not going to please everybody. Like you can't please every boss, every coworker. But still, like Macklin said, no one team is bigger than the organization they play in. This is Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the marketplace sponsors, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Special thanks to our good friend Hank over at American Caulking as well. Give him a call at 449-5649 for all your caulking needs. And you talk about time today, time to go to sporting events. All right, let's talk about the entertainment dollar, which affects everybody. Going out to dinner, going to a movie, going to a concert, going to the oceanfront. For years growing up in Virginia Beach, as I did, that the biggest thing from Memorial Day to Labor Day was go to the oceanfront on 36th Street and Atlantic Avenue, get a hamburger, get a hot dog, go there with mom, dad, your brother, and your sister. Now it's movies, it's concerts, and then a lot of times, Ron, when you're watching a sporting event, you're seeing people more looking at their phone the entire time they're at a sporting event. So it seems like we've all got ADD.
Sure does. Along these lines, I read an interesting article this morning by David Teal of the Daily Press, and you can look it up online or on Twitter. But he was talking about Virginia Tech's new AD, Whit Babcock, and he's actually really big this year with their sports, specifically with football, with fan engagement. And he's made some changes already. Heard from the fans that the video screen, they were tired of getting solicited with messages there, so he's changing that, and also pushing back some of the game times from 1:30 to 3:30. But there's a school there worried about declining attendance of games and is really taking a big initiative to look at fan engagement and make changes there to help attendance for their home games.
Very good. Hank, your thoughts?
Wins brings the fans. That's the bottom line. All this stuff is just a little overwhelming for me, to be honest with you. If I was to go to a football game or a baseball game, I'm kind of going to watch the game. But, that's just me. I think perhaps, especially with the younger generation, they don't understand maybe as many things in general as we did. Reading books and stuff like that. I don't think they even read stuff anymore. You talk about the newspaper. I don't see them look at anything except their iPhones and stuff. So,
and that's the thing. And I was telling one of my clients there earlier too, and all of my clients that under 50, you're wasting your money in the phone book and the newspaper because the kids under 50 are not picking it up. It's all, I can Google any restaurant I want to on my phone right now. Well, 20 years ago, I'd have to go to an encyclopedia or a dictionary or
he just said fan interaction.
Yeah.
That just blows me. I'm interacted when I'm watching the game.
I know.
I ain't got time to be talking to anybody on, clicking stuff out of my phone. I'm watching the game.
But on TV, Ron and Bill, you're not big into Twitter, but Twitter's huge right now.
Well, you wonder from what you're reading and seeing and hearing, is there going to be interactive action someday in our lifetime? Somehow the fans are directly involved in a sporting event.
Like a play-by-play. Like, can you believe he just did that? And you're talking to other people in the stands. That just doesn't make any sense.
Or fans suggesting play. That's gone on, but it hasn't worked very well.
Well, when you're watching the show like on the Food Network, you can see them tweeting this. And I'll say this. I'm going to bring this one more topic before we take a break and bring on our business spotlight here. What social media do you use more today? Do you use Twitter more, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn or YouTube? Which one? I use them all the same. For me, they're all the same. I think they all have a relevant purpose, but some people, like the young kids under 20, they like Instagram, but that doesn't cater to the older crowd as much. Ron, your thoughts?
I'm primarily Twitter. I like Twitter a lot for the informational aspect. I sometimes go on rants like yesterday about Derek Jeter on Twitter, which is a different story I'll talk about later. But I think Twitter is a great information source and something that a lot of people are using.
Hank?
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely a Twitter hound. There are certain hot button topics, boy. If you start talking about Tony Romo or you hit up a LeBron James, you just get all kinds of reaction, and some of it is senseless, to be honest with you. I mean, it's funny, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, but sometimes I really get surprised with some of the things I read.
Bill, I know you do check websites at the library, but what besides websites, what social media do you like the most?
As long as my landline works, I'm in business, and I'm out of that discussion.
Telephone.
Very good. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with our business spotlight here in a few minutes, and what tees me off right here, this is News Talk 1650, your home for CBS News and Hampton Roads, 10,000 watts of News Talk power. Tell your friends about it. Don't forget tunein.com, type in WHKT, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Greg Bickaveris, this is Sports Scene. We'll be back after these messages.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind, but there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Now back to Greg Bickaveris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, welcome back right here. Taking a little quick break here with our business spotlight, then coming back to Hank, Ron, and Bill. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Read it in the Daily Press, TV, radio log every Wednesday. Tell your friends. Find me on Facebook at Greg Bickaveris as well. And, of course, we got our next guest from Tap Gastropub, a really hot restaurant in Virginia Beach in the Hilltop section. Want to welcome in David Alexander. David, how are you?
I'm doing great today, thank you.
Well, tell us about that concept. A little bit over a year old now. Beautiful restaurant right there in the heart of Virginia Beach.
Yeah, well, really the concept was my son-in-law, Bill Rurek's idea, and fortunately for him, my wife and I were in a position to help get that concept started. He wanted a comfortable setting with fresh food and great beer.
It kind of reminds me, it has that excellent feel because a lot of great restaurants in Northern Virginia, a lot of pro athletes own them. You feel like you're walking to a really nice establishment that caters to young and old equally the same.
Well, we also like to encourage families. We have a very broad setting, comfortable. We have the sports bar portion of the area where people can watch a ball game. We also have the traditional seating, and we have the seats for the infants and care for the young folks as well.
Well, let's talk about the location, of course, and the website and everything, all the good stuff. The social media is a really big part of it. Twitter is a big part of it. Janine is very active on Twitter.
Yeah, my wife Janine has kind of taken that on as her skill. She is very active in posting, and we post to Facebook, Twitter, and
Well, and you also do a lot of different social media on there, as we're talking right here with David Alexander from Tap Gastropub, right there on Laskin Road. Beautiful restaurant in Virginia Beach, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. You got specials. You also have really good entertainment there. Talk about some of the entertainment you've got.
Well, thank you. We provide live music Wednesday through Saturday. We have open mic night on Sunday nights, and we're just starting to get Saturday afternoon music on the patio. So we're excited about having live music, and it's nice for our guests. So.
And folks, if tourists coming in, if you can't find them, just Google Tap Gastropub. You'll find it. You can go to gjbtv.com, go to the Marketplace Sponsors number 3. You'll see the link. It'll take you right to the restaurant. Excellent place for lunch and dinner. Of course, this is the busy time of the year. Tell your friends about Tap Gastropub. It's the place in Virginia Beach to eat a good meal at an affordable price and really good entertainment as well. And like I think the biggest thing when I think about your restaurant is there's something for everyone.
There is. If you want a burger, you can get a burger. I think our burgers are terrific. You can also substitute turkey or black bean if you don't want the beef, so to speak. We have a great sirloin. We have a good variety of seafood as well. So.
Well, let's talk about the beverages there too. That's a little of a unique concept there with the adult beverages.
Well, we have a full bar, and we also feature craft beers. We have 32 taps, and we have 2 beer tables where you can actually pour your own. That's a unique concept to the area. We have 2 tables already established, and we have expansion plans for that as well.
We're waiting for your grandson to take over.
Well, I'm sure my son-in-law would like that as well. Also.
Exactly. We're talking right here to Mr. Alexander from Tap Gastropub. Greg Bicoveros in our business spotlight. A final few moments, of course. And you talk about the restaurant's menu. There is something for everyone. It's very eclectic, yet it's very modern and upscale too as well.
Well, you'll find on our lunch menu, for example, we have a veggie sandwich just for those vegetarians. We have gluten-free options, and there are many different options to substitute different items on the menu. So.
And we talk about Tap Gastropub as far as the address and the phone number and the location as well. And, of course, it's so convenient right there in Virginia Beach in the Hilltop section. A lot of locals go there, but tourists go there as well, too. But really, again, for more, go to their website. You can find it on gjbtv.com. Hit Marketplace Sponsors number 3 as well. And, of course, the phone number right there is 965-5585, 1550 Laskin Road. Excellent place. People can listen to this right here on TuneIn.com by typing WHKT. Leave us some final thoughts about Tap Gastropub and what lies ahead for the fall, especially during football season. It's going to be really exciting.
Well, we do have the football package, so we are able to offer all the games in live setting. We have outdoor seating for both non-smokers and smokers. We have indoor and outdoor bars. Very comfortable seating on the outside area. So that's an area that's unique to our restaurant, we think, and it's been a great asset for our guests.
It's summer now, but it'll be fall before you know it. But anyway, enjoy the beach, but go to Tap Gastropub. Take it to go if you want to, if you're on the road, but a great place to kick back and relax is Tap Gastropub. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Now back to Greg Bicoveros and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
What is this I'm feeling?
And welcome back right here live on the radio. Hello to all the tourists coming into Virginia Beach and Williamsburg and all the great places in Hampton Roads. This is your place. For more, go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, GJBTV.com on where to eat, where to shop right there. GJBTV.com marketplace sponsors. I want to thank David Alexander from Tap Gastropub. Really a unique experience of restaurant dining in Virginia Beach. Ken, now let's do our very popular light segment. What teased me off? All right, Kenny.
Do a little juggling here. Here we go. What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, remember, we keep it light right here.
Okay.
All right, Kenny, let's wake up over there. All right, what teased me off?
Wonderful.
That's the computer. All right. People on TV that are looking like they are heading to a cocktail party rather than working by their attire. Also, I'm going to get your thoughts in a second. Not enough trash cans that are accessible. Websites that say contact us, but yet it's like going through a puzzle to get the basics, just the email and the phone number. When you call a number and the person answers the phone, you can't tell if it's a live person or voicemail. More emphasis now on drive-thrus than in person when going to a fast food restaurant. And people who sit around the pool, like at the country club where I was this past weekend, and people watch and say, do you know so-and-so? Do you know so-and-so? Oh, so-and-so is right over there, especially at country clubs. All right, guys, what tees you off, Ron Peterson, in general?
What teased me off the most is that...
Move the mic a little bit closer to you. You can move it.
What teased me off the most is that love fest for Derek Jeter yesterday. Now, I'm a Yankee hater, but you got to admit, Derek Jeter is not a little bit, but a lot overrated. When you look at his numbers over his career, he's a compiler. I think the guy you can most compare him to is probably two people. One is Craig Biggio, who played for a long time, had 3,000 hits, but is kind of on the bubble for the Hall of Fame. And the other is Alan Trammell, who played his whole career with the Detroit Tigers. If you took either one of those guys and put them in New York, they'd be a Hall of Famer. They'd be getting all the buzz that Derek Jeter is getting now. Likewise, if you'd have put Jeter in Houston or Detroit, he wouldn't have nearly the publicity he's getting now. And everybody says about Jeter, he's so classy, he's such a great ambassador for the game. Well, guess what? In generations past, everybody was an ambassador for the game. Everybody was classy. So that's kind of something that you just expect from him. And something else, Jeter, you know, my buddies bring up the fact that he dates all these supermodels and movie stars. Well, how about you date them for more than a month or two?
There you go. All right. Well, this is Mr. Negative and Positive here. Hank, I'm afraid of what you're going to say. What teased you off?
What teased me off is the thing that you were complaining about sitting around a nice place by the pool and stuff. That hurts my feelings, man. But, you know, in sports, I think when you follow the narrative, like the narrative with Tony Romo is he's not a very good quarterback because he makes mistakes in critical times. Well, yeah, is the first 3.5 quarters not critical to the game, too, when he's throwing for 506 yards against Denver? And our offense puts up 48 points, but we lose 51-48. And all you hear about is, well, it's Romo's fault because he threw a late interception. Those are the small little narratives. And the LeBron James thing. LeBron had no help. If you watch the Miami Heat play, they had a 2-point lead when he got cramps. They lost by 15 points in 6 minutes, but it's LeBron's fault.
You're exactly right. He can't do it all by himself. Exactly right. And, of course, Bill Bishop, what tees you off?
I am going to raise some hackles. I want to see a decent Norfolk Tides baseball season before I die. They have been bad for so long, it is discouraging.
They blamed it on the Mets. Now it's the
Orioles.
Yeah, now they're getting the same thing from the Orioles.
And Double-A gets the prospects. Triple-A gets the rejects.
Ken, what tees you off?
They kept at the old Tides Park. That's what I see. It's the move that messed up.
Yeah.
And what teased me off? People that sit in the movie theater and they're literally 2 feet away from a trash can, but they leave their trash on the floor.
Yeah.
Where did this tradition of in a movie theater you just dump things on the floor
true.
come from? Where did that start?
I don't know.
It
My
came
parents
about
didn't
the
teach me
same
that.
time that the Arctic conditions in any movie theater came about, too, because I freeze every time I go watch a movie.
And that's why I said there's not enough
friend.
not enough trash cans around. But, gentlemen, I want to thank all of y'all for being on the Fan Forum. You all come back in November, and thank you for listening to Sports Scene. Go ahead and plug your Twitter handle one more time, Ron.
It's Ron_Peterson.
AmericanCaulking@yahoo.com.
And Bill, we can see you at the Virginia Beach Library using the computer there, right?
That's right.
That's it. All right, Ken Johnson, great guest today. We had Bill Bishop. Of course, we had Ron Peterson, Hank Armentrout, David Alexander from Tap Gastropub, the premier place in Virginia Beach to dine. Also want to thank 5 Points Family Diner in Norfolk and Tacos Mexico in Newport News. Don't forget, for more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. This will be archived within 24 hours. We'll be back next Wednesday from 12 to 1. Of course, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy Wednesday, and thank you again to Active Computers. We'll talk to you soon.
We just need to get Hank to the theater on High Street. It's not called there, Hank. We'll get you in there. We got a couple of crashes working. One of those in Norfolk, 64 westbound, Chesapeake Boulevard. It's on the right shoulder. Another crash, Virginia Beach Boulevard. This one in Virginia Beach, rather. Independence Boulevard northbound at the 264 interchange. No other backups, delays, no bridge openings on the schedule. Showers and thunderstorms the rest of the day. West of the day, hello. 78 degrees for the high. Decreasing cloudiness tonight, a low of 68 degrees, and mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 83 degrees. Remnant Radio is up next on AM 1650 WHKT in Portsmouth. It is 1 p.m.